Hey, howdy, and a big welcome back to Clem, folks. I'm Yak, ready to take you through. Oh, can you believe it? After everything we've been on this past 2 weeks, we have some Minnesota Twins news, discussion, trade stuff to be talked about, and it feels dang good to be returning kind of back home where we started this whole crazy journey a little while ago on Clem Hawks. Now back with Minnesota Twins, an episode of discussion focused around none other than the man that just completed his rehab assignment today or yesterday in Miguel Sano, right? This guy has been pretty much missing in action all year, and the Minnesota Twins now find themselves solidly up there in first place once again by 3 games. And it's that interesting kind of time of year where there's a lot of moves being made, a lot of things being talked about, as we've seen here on Clemhawks the past 2 weeks. And now we get to talk about the Twins and Miguel Sano coming back into the fold here in the next little bit. So, folks, what I want you to do is take the next 7, 8 minutes, whatever it's going to take me to get through this, to consider subscribing. Whether you like the Twins, whether you like the MLB, whether you like trade rumors, whatever it is, consider subscribing, and let's get into it very quickly now here. As Miguel Sano is completed his rehab assignment, that much we know. The Twins have some potential injuries coming up. I've seen Kepler potentially being able to line up for a little bit here coming into August 2nd. So there's some stuff to be noted here for the Twins where they have to be very careful with how they handle the roster going into the trade deadline. But once you get to that magical trade deadline day, there's a lot of options here the Twins have. And Miguel Sano, right? Obviously, if he was such a key piece, you wouldn't be where you are right now. And I've kind of liked what I've seen out of the reports from Sports Illustrated and stuff like that today, where it's very clear, right? Sano was once a cornerstone piece of this franchise, and now the Twins have pretty much survived the whole year without him, and somehow still holding on to top place in the Central Division in the American League. You can argue that the American League Central is a disaster, absolute disgrace to MLB, whatever you want to say, but technically speaking, still, this Twins team is very good and very good at what they've done all season long, unless you're talking about June. But you look at it, right? It's one of those things. Is for the Twins, it's very tough for you to go out there and make a Miguel Sano trade. But when the puzzle pieces just don't fit, you have to do something. And obviously, a guy with that kind of value does come with an opportunity to make your team better without sacrificing legitimately anything at this point. Because for the Minnesota Wild, what are you sacrificing if you give up a guy that hasn't been there all year and somehow you are where you are, right? You've got a second baseman, you've got Gio Urshela, you got Max Kepler, you got Nick Gordon, you got Jorge Polanco who can play third, you've got Byron Buxton at center field, you got Gary Sanchez at catcher, Carlos Correa at shortstop, you got Ryan Jeffers behind the plate, you got, of course, Jose Miranda, who has been having a fantastic breakout season over there at first, third base, whatever you want to say. Trevor Larnach in right, Kyle Garlick in left, Alex Kirilov in right, and then at third base, right, Miguel Sano, who batting up 093 in 17 games this season. Like, what are you losing by trading away a guy that has sky high potential when he's healthy, but contributed nothing so far this season to your team? And you know what? You could really go out there and get something for him, right? 5 hits and 54 at bats is what we're talking about. And Miguel Sano is not the Miguel Sano Twins fans have known for a while, unless he is that when he comes back and plays the next week or two. So, right, there's a lot to be had here for the Twins in terms of what you could achieve in a Miguel Sano trade. But for the Twins right now, the priority is take care of day by day, right? Going into the trade deadline, you want to have everything hashed out. So for the Twins, why wouldn't you want to try and give Sano as much time to turn it around, right? Give him as many games here before the trade deadline, right? And then see where you're at, right? If you have an injury come up to Jose Miranda, Kirilov, or Kepler, then yeah, you keep Sano around to play first base and obviously be able to platoon over there at third if needed. That works out great and dandy. Now all of a sudden, everybody's healthy. Sano's kind of started batting like Miguel Sano again. And you're not going to miss that because you got 1,000,001 bats that are capable of doing that, and he hasn't done that for you this year. So it's not like you're getting a plus plus by adding that back in, trying to find a rotation for Kirilov, Miranda, Kepler, Polanco, right? All those guys. No, you're Urshela in there as well. You're not trying to find a rotation for those guys. Keep it the way it is. Gets to know Oda here. Bullpen, starting pitching, right? You think about the two big needs for the Minnesota Twins. If Miguel Sano could be the guy that gets you that, that's not a bad thing at all for Minnesota Twins fans or the Minnesota Twins team because, right, you think about nothing in your lineup is being sacrificed by losing Miguel Sano at this point or at the trade deadline. And then you move forward and you go out there and bolster your starting rotation or bolster your relief pen. And all of a sudden, okay, now you've turned Miguel Sano into one or two pieces for each of those positions. And oh, okay, all right, Yak, we got something brewing here. Where yeah, you know what? Now you have a reliever you can count on in the seventh inning every time out. Or you got a starter that's going to be your 3-day starter, right? You got a whole bunch to go. And for the Twins, they just need one or two big pitching pieces that are able to steady Eddie the rotation and bullpen. And suddenly, right there, my friends, you're talking about a team that goes from winning a couple of games out of three to 3 out of 4. And down the stretch for the Twins, especially with Guardians only 3 games back, if you could go to winning 3 out of 4 instead of winning 2 out of 3, you would be much better off, right? That's 6 out of 8 as opposed to 4 out of 6, whatever you want to say. Technically, it's all kind of almost the same ratio, although it would be 6 out of 9 instead of 6 out of 8. So you kind of see where you're just losing one less game a week, realistically, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm arguing. Lose one less game a week because you have the pieces in the rotation and the pen to give you that, and you're much better off. So, folks, I'm Yak. This is Clem Hawks. What do you think? A Miguel Sano trade, is it imminent, or is it something where the Twins are going to give their guy that's been around for a while one last chance at glory this season to be a part of something special, turn it around post rehab, and try and come up big down the stretch here in late August, September, October, November, and try and help the Twins do the impossible and win a World Series? I'm Yak, Clem Hawks, up on, out of here.